2019 BMW X5, the G05, all new for this model year. The midsize premium SUV has long been defined by this BMW. Once upon a time, all of the SUVs on the market were truck-based. They were slow, uncoordinated, and bulky. And then vehicles like this came along to lead to a landscape of what we're currently living in today, where all of the manufacturers are putting all of their effort into luxurious but capable SUVs. And this is my first experience with the X5 that was given to me by BMW Gallery and the Gallery Group. All of their information is linked down below, but here in this video review, I want to break down everything that you need to know about this X5, and then at the end of this video, I'll place it in my ranking system to see where it competes against other mid-size premium SUVs. Now, if you're familiar with all of the new BMW vehicles, we've got so many significantly refreshed and brand new models for the 2019-2020 model years. We've got the new 3 Series, the new X7, both of those vehicles I've already tested out and thoroughly enjoyed. Now, with this X5, quite a lot of those elements, as you expect, are here. We've got the widescreen touchscreen with Apple Carplay and the latest iDrive interface system, the BMW Live Cockpit display, which is your digital instrument cluster up here, and the updated exterior looks. But the defining thing for this X5 that I'm driving today is the 50i model. This is the one with the 4.4 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine, produces 456 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Now, when I tested out the larger X7, that was the 40i model, the same 3-litre straight-six turbocharged engine that you'll find in quite a few of BMW's models. And that vehicle, I believe, weighs about 400 pounds or so more than this car. And that 6-cylinder engine, even though it was in quite a larger vehicle, was incredibly potent. That engine would be doing just fine in here as well, in the smaller, lighter vehicle. But I would never turn down the opportunity to test drive this V8 engine, although it probably isn't the engine that the majority of customers are going for. This thing packs a lot of character. It's the same engine that I've tested out in the M550i, but in this application, it's so much more exciting. Maybe it's because it's in a much larger vehicle and it isn't claiming that halfway performance model like that M550i was, and I took a little bit of complaint with that. But this engine can propel this car to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.7 seconds. You have a whole bunch of different driving modes, as you do with all of the current BMW models, including Sport and Sport Plus, where you can get some proper noise out of this exhaust. Here's a couple clips for you now. Slip into Comfort or Eco Pro, and now listen how quiet this car is. That's a 4.4 litre V8 up front, and you think it's powered by electricity. Only when you demand a little bit of power, like that, is when things quickly reveal themselves. Outside of the engine, what's the rest of the driving experience like? Well, the electronic powered assist system for the steering is a constantly adaptive system, so at low speed it's incredibly easy to move this vehicle back and forth, but then when you get up to highway speeds, it's just tiny little corrections if you need them at all. The visibility all around is pretty good. I feel like I am sitting very high off of the road to look down upon the rest of the motoring population. The brakes are firm, the 8-speed automatic transmission is simply marvelous, and you have the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel if you wish to change the gears yourself. But it will be noted, even in manual mode and sport mode and all the rest of it engaged, if you don't shift a red line, the car will shift for you. So as I'm driving around in this V8, I'll quickly touch upon the 6-cylinder version. That comes with xDrive all-wheel drive as well and has 335 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque. Again, that's probably what the majority of people are going for in this vehicle. A couple things to note between the 6 and the 8-cylinder. If you want the third row option, of which you can get in the X5, you can only have it in the 6-cylinder engines. V8, you can't do it. They are sort of an afterthought add-on. If you want true 6 or 7 people capability, buy an X7. And then with that one, you can get it with a V8 and that 6 or 7-seater capability. This wouldn't be a modern BMW if it wasn't packed with the latest and greatest for technology. So like I said, we've got the touchscreen with Apple Carplay and with the gesture controls that you can use by turning the volume up and down, the control wheel in this central cluster of buttons between this poplar wood accent, and of course the ability to do that as well on the steering wheel, the traditional volume knob, and asking, hey BMW, to turn the volume up. This model features the heads-up display, and it might not be as expansive as some other vehicles that I've come across. Lincoln comes to mind. They've got a huge heads-up display unit that will deliver as much information as you could possibly want, but this one is just so crisp and bright, and the resolution on that heads-up display looks just as good as what it does here in the digital instrument cluster and on the touchscreen. Standard features for the 40i model include the heated front seats, the panoramic sunroof, the power folding split tailgate, the LED lights front and rear, the ambient lighting inside, lane departure warning, blind spot warning, the collision warning alert system, and high beam assist. Now this one will come with a few other goodies. We've got the heated and ventilated front seats, the heated steering wheel, the heated rear seats, the adaptive cruise control system, wireless phone charging, the air suspension where you can raise and lower with this toggle switch right here. The digital key that I tested out in the X7 is available here in this vehicle as well. The crafted glass elements that's prominent mostly on the gear shifter and the iDrive rotary wheel, you can also see it here in the volume knob. I really don't mind it, and I really thought I would take issue with this when I first saw it in the BMW X7, but I liked it there and I like it here as well. You've got the backlit X that's got this kaleidoscope effect within the shifter, and then at night that element turns orange, that classic BMW glow. Now what's this thing like as an SUV? Well, the largest criticism I have towards this X5 is that it doesn't really feel that big in the back for a mid-size SUV, and so many of them that I'm getting into these days. I would say that the BMW is one of the smallest I've personally come across. Not to say that it's difficult to be back there. I've got plenty of headroom, knee room, and foot room. The seats fold individually, so there's a lot of capability to throw down the middle seat and carry skis and do whatever you wish with this vehicle. But just comparing it to so many other mid-sizes that I've been in recently, the BMW does feel quite a bit smaller in the back. Up front though, if you're 6'4", you've got all the space you could possibly want. Leather appointments absolutely everywhere. We've got the upgraded Walk Nappa leather package here on the dashboard, which is just so beautiful to behold. The seats are immensely comfortable with thigh extension and with all of the different things that you can change around with the seat functions. The heated armrests, yes, I really do mean that, alongside the heated and cooled cup holders, make living with this X5 quite an easy thing. The bench seat splitting tailgate setup that is part of this X5 has been one of its core elements of its design since the beginning. I love seeing this in cars. It's great to perch up on the back, and if you're in a romantic situation, have a picnic in the back, and it's simply just cool. And with the security cover, you can hide that underneath the false floor. You lift that element up and it's on some kind of pneumatic spring, so it's going to hold in place until you push it back down in towards the floor. So I encountered this problem when I was testing out the 3 Series, and I got a couple emails from some viewers, and I really appreciate you taking the time and writing those emails to me about some of the issues you were having with Apple CarPlay. Now, this is a wireless Apple CarPlay system. You can still plug it in and it will work just like any other vehicle on sale today. But some of the issues I've personally encountered is that when it is on its wireless setup, it glitches out from time to time, whether it's the Bluetooth that doesn't work as well, or some kind of connection is going a bit wonky. I've found myself in that 3 Series and X5 trying to skip the wireless CarPlay option because it has brought a fair few problems, as this is apparent here in this X5 and that 3 Series. I'm wondering if it is something pertaining to the wireless Apple CarPlay system. If you're having issues like this as well, let me know by an email or a comment or reaching out on any of my social media pages. I'd really like to hear if you're a current owner of the new 3 Series and the new X7 and the new X5 and all of these brand new BMW models, if you're encountering issues such as these. This X5 has the upgraded laser light systems, and when you're driving along at night, you really appreciate the power that's behind this technology. And the intriguing thing about it is that these systems are significantly reduced of their capability in North America comparing to the European counterparts of the exact same tech. The exterior looks are definitely a retooling of the X5 before. Nothing is radically different in my eyes. So to me, it looks stately and handsome. The thing that I take perhaps just a little bit of issue with is the rear taillights. To me, they look like a Subaru Impreza. I really don't know why I'm making that connection. Perhaps it's the white element that's within the taillight unit, that's what's reminding me of it. There's quite a few functional vents and ones that are just covered up plastic. The V8 has the quad exhaust tips that are housed within that rectangular portion within the bumper. And the 22-inch rims that are here on this model may just be the best looking wheels I've ever seen on an SUV. Probably not fit for the individual that plans to off-road their X5, but anybody that wants to make an impression on the street, these are the wheels you have to go with. And so that wraps up everything I wanted to say about the X5. This thing is stupendously good, but in this ultra competitive segment, I think that you should consider owning this vehicle. I personally haven't had much experience with the new Porsche Cayenne, the new GLE from Mercedes, and I really want to get behind the wheel of those vehicles sometime soon so I can say definitively which one is better than the rest. I think the biggest negatives towards this X5 is that there isn't as much space in the rear as I was expecting, but nonetheless, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with this vehicle, and I hope I can spend some more time again with it soon. So that's been everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video, and special thanks again have to go off to BMW Gallery and the Dallara group that lent this X5 out to me for a weekend so I could test it out. All of their information is linked down. All of their info is linked down below, and if you want to do me the biggest favor in the world and hit that subscribe button as well, it does everything for me. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you again soon.